Commonwealth v. Berggren, 496 NE 2D 660, Supreme Judicial Court of Massachusetts, August 26, 1986. Substantive facts. On March 29, 1983, around 8:28, defendant was pursued by Patrolman Michael Aselton of Barnstable Police Department for speeding past him on a motorcycle while he was on radar duty on Old State Road in Centerville. The defendant chose not to pull over because he was in fear of his license and therefore led the officer on a high-speed chase for about 6 miles through a residential area. The defendant eventually gained a 100-yard lead on the officer and crossed an intersection heading north. The officer reached the same intersection and attempted to cross it at roughly 76 miles per hour minimal and ran over a crown in the roadway. The officer then slid 170 yards, slamming into a tree, whereupon he died from the impact. Defendant had no knowledge of the accident and there were no other vehicles involved. In the event of a high-speed pursuit, it is up to a superior officer to terminate the high-speed chase. In this case, no such order came about at the time of the accident, and it was determined by the Barnstable Police that the officer died in the line of duty. Procedural. Defendant is currently awaiting trial before a 6-person jury for charges brought on him for motor vehicle homicide by negligent operation of a motor vehicle so as to endanger public safety. GLC 90, Statute 24GB. District Court Judge has granted the motion to report an issue to the Court of Appeals in accordance with Mass. R. Crime P. 34378, Mass. 905/1979. Issue. Are the stipulated facts of the case enough to convict the defendant on the charge of motor vehicle homicide by neglect? Holding is yes. Reasoning. The defendant was speeding at night on roads that were defined by his attorney as winding and narrow and was aware the officer was pursuing him. He intentionally chose not to stop because he was in fear of his license, which may be reasonable to conclude he was aware he was in violation of at least one law. The patrolman was aware of the potential dangers and his death was in direct result of the natural and continuous sequence of the defendant's actions. Rule of law. The proper standard of causation for the offense is standard of proximate cause enunciated in tort law under GLC 90 S 20 Statute 24GB.